All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Wisconsin Weather Experts on this Friday. We have made it, and I'm happy to announce that Williams Bay residents just recently received some good news. That's where we're going to start our show on this Friday. People in Williams Bay just received the good news just a short time ago. It was just after 11:30 or maybe just before then, amid their water emergency. So a spokesperson for the Williams Bay Police Department says that the village water is now safe to drink again. The community had been under a do not drink order for over a week after children got sick and officials discovered dangerous nitrite levels in the water. Now, yesterday, the village said water samples from Wednesday came back with nitrite levels below the maximum containment levels. And then the new tests today were also down. So great news for those residents. I could not even imagine having to deal with that for a full week. And remember, that was brushing teeth, drinking water. It was all very impactful. Now, Rob's right next to me now.
I'm sorry, I just slid in here a little bit late, but I'm glad that you got the good news and the update from Williams Bay right there. And I'm also bringing good news. I slide in here a little bit tardy for the party, but nearly a month after historic flooding in Wauwatosa, many people, of course, are trying to rebuild. And starting today, the village is actually hoping the community comes together for support and celebration. Stephanie Quirk has a look at TosaFest.
From flood-covered roads to quiet streets.
All flooded, just flooded. And over there,
many people living in Wauwatosa are still trying to wrap their head around last month's historic flooding.
so many more houses than we expected.
Nearly a month later, recovery is far from over.
The flooding was extensive.
Flood waters filled basements, businesses, and streets near the Menominee River. But the hope in Tosa this weekend is the streets will be filled with something else.
Celebration of food and music and community takes place right here in the village. We close down the streets.
TosaFest begins Friday, an event focused on celebrating the community. But Beth Gleasing with the city says this year's event is different.
The businesses down here are hoping that coming down and celebrating as a community is going to offer them a little bit of relief.
Damage from flooding forced businesses like Cafe Hollander to shut down. But beginning Friday, the restaurant will partially open its doors just in time for the fest.
And really, the businesses now could use that support.
But it's not just about the businesses in Tosa.
So many of our residents were really impacted.
Gleasing says it's a moment to give everyone in the community support.
From everything they've been dealing with.
Hoping on the road to recovery, they can offer each other a little help along the way. Stephanie Quirk, FOX 6 News.
We were just saying a month ago.
Yeah.
A month ago Tuesday, I guess.
Yeah, so head down to TosaFest. We love Tosa. It's the best place to be.
It's a cute little community, and that there are a couple of different Cafe Hollanders, but that one's really cute, right by the river there, and of course that was part of the problem. But it's good to see that they're going to slowly kind of get back, and Tosa's strong, right?
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Exactly. All right, well, let's switch gears and go down south. So storms, we talked about this yesterday, still slamming South Florida, bringing rounds of rain, and still the potential for flash flooding throughout the remainder of the week and potentially even into the weekend. That creating hazardous travel impacts for residents as well as tourists. Fox's Brandy Campbell reports.
If you're here with us in South Florida, make sure to keep your umbrellas and rain jackets handy as storms are expected to impact this region once again. Overall, through Monday, we could see another 3 to 5 inches of rain across southeast Florida. Heavy rain, gusty wind, and isolated street flooding all possible. We're also under a level 1 out of 4 flood risk in place through Saturday.
It's been consistent, but it's raining for hard hour and then it's sunny again, so it's still better than most of the places.
This rain could actually help. Miami is currently under a level 3 out of 5 severe drought, and it's not the only city experiencing drought conditions. Now, on a lighter note, we also want to look at how weather might impact football this weekend, and we're going to do that by taking a look at our ROE. It's the Fox Weather Risk of Weather Impact. So we're going to go up north to Jacksonville, where the Jaguars, they have a game this Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern facing the Panthers at Everbank Stadium. where they are exposed to the elements. So as of Thursday afternoon, the Rowie notes they have a medium chance for weather to impact their game, and it's going to be hot with a feels-like temperature in the mid-90s. Now here in Miami, the Dolphins, they have an away game this weekend, so they're exempt from the weather, but the University of Miami Hurricanes, they do have a home game here on Saturday at the Hard Rock Stadium. And as of Thursday afternoon, the Rowie says they have a medium chance for weather to impact their game. So download the Fox Weather app for the latest. But for now, I am Brandy Campbell in Miami. Back to you.
There you go. And speaking of football, the NFL season is officially underway. The Eagles defeated the Cowboys last night, although it took a little longer than expected.
We've got some lightning in the area within 6 miles of Lincoln Financial Field. Sean Smith is talking to the folks who are watching this. He's opened the mic.
Suspended for lightning in the area.
Yeah, I thought that was coming.
There you go. The game had to be suspended in the third quarter because of lightning. The players were kept off the field for about 50 minutes before they were allowed to warm up again, and the game started back up more than an hour later, around 10:30. There were also stormy attitudes on the fields, by the way. Just before the first snap, Dak Prescott spits toward Jalen Carter's direction. Carter then spits on Prescott and was ejected from the game. That's not the kind of precipitation we want, folks. It ended up being a pretty close one. Ultimately, the Cowboys couldn't pull ahead in the end after some costly drops. The Eagles win 24-20, and of course, nobody gets to tackle Mother Nature. They all had to step aside to let that play out, which is smart. You got to give the NFL credit for that.
Absolutely.
Understanding the meteorology, understanding that just in the area can still lead to a strike on the field. And can you imagine, with all the people in attendance, all those incredibly talented athletes that definitely demand a high paycheck, right? All those assets from a business point of view out there exposed. Very smart move. Kudos to the NFL for that. All right, let's talk about our regional forecast, because we got a lot going on here too.
Yeah, we're still dealing with the wind here locally in Wisconsin, and then elsewhere there's actually a severe threat down towards the south today. I got a couple of different storm systems in the, we'll say, midsection of the U.S. as well as out towards the east. And here locally we've got a low pressure system, but it's primarily east of us now, but a bit unsettled, we'll say northeast of Wisconsin, and then down towards the south along this cold front. And there's that rain still near Miami that we've covered for a couple of days now. Remember, there's a stalled system essentially sitting over portions of southern Florida right now, so hopefully giving them the type of rain that they need, but not the flooding. It's still going to be very unsettled down towards the south in that area, as you just heard, potentially into early next week. Now, here are the areas that could deal with a few stronger thunderstorms throughout the day today. We're especially looking at everybody in that yellow there. That is the slight risk for today. Good news is that it's way south of us. In fact, here in Wisconsin, we're expecting mainly dry conditions today, just hanging on to cloud cover and that very strong wind. But all the storms, for the most part, stay south. There are still a few light sprinkles, light showers in northern Wisconsin, as well as across the UP and then into Michigan State. This is all some wraparound moisture right now. Down towards the south, we just have the cloud cover, so do expect more of a mostly cloudy afternoon, maybe some sunshine peeking through later on in the day. Can't completely rule out an isolated sprinkle, but most of that is going to stay up towards the north of us. So going forward, it's still going to be a pretty nice Friday. We may even see some late day clearing closer to sunset, maybe just before then, but with a clear sky overnight tonight, that does mean colder temperatures too. Yesterday morning, we dealt with temperatures in the 40s, even in southern Wisconsin. We're likely going to see that again tomorrow. To start the weekend, some cloud cover from time to time, especially up towards the north. Now notice Saturday evening, there is the chance for a few sprinkles once again in some of our northern communities. Not going to rule out one or two here late Saturday evening in southern Wisconsin. The chance is pretty low though. I think we just see a period of some cloud cover later Saturday afternoon. And then Sunday, we are essentially back to full sunshine, and that's across the state. And then that will stick around Monday. So overall, we have a really quiet forecast here now that storm system from yesterday is out towards the east. We are still feeling the wind though. Look at some of these gusts across the state, anywhere from 25 to 35 miles per hour for most of us in Wisconsin, a little bit stronger than that in Duluth. Earlier, Milwaukee registered a gust over 40 miles per hour. So it has been very windy. And now it started yesterday evening as those frontal boundaries were getting closer, strengthened overnight into this morning as they passed by. Expect the strong wind through at least sunset tonight, but even through the overnight and into the next couple of days, we could still see sustained wind speeds up to about 15 miles per hour. So nothing compared to today, but maybe still a little breezy, especially on your Saturday. Now let's talk temperatures, because we have seen a below average stretch across much of the upper plains and Great Lakes region here over the last couple of days. High temperatures for the remainder of this afternoon, south in the 60s, north in the 50s. And now there could still be some communities here, even, in parts of our viewing area in Milwaukee up towards the north, that fall short of 60. And that bubble that we were in yesterday of the cooler than average air, notice how it dips south a little bit today. So that cooler air mass impacting places like Denver, where high temperatures will only be in the upper 60s. But then you get out east ahead of that system and down towards the south, you see those upper 90s, and then still to the southwest dealing with some decent heat as well. So this is a fun map to look at right now, just to see where some of that cooler air, or how far south that cooler air is sinking for today. Now, speaking of cool air, tonight there is a freeze watch in western parts of North Dakota. I'm almost a little surprised it's not expanded a little bit more into both of the Dakotas and even into Minnesota, because some of those communities could easily drop into, the 30s, the low to mid 30s for low temperatures. This is actually skipped ahead just a little bit, but in those spots in particular, we'll likely see temperatures tomorrow morning dropping into the 30s. It's going to be a chilly start to Saturday. Now, speaking of the rest of our forecast, though, I know we've had the string of cooler than average air, and that's going to continue into the second half of the weekend. But you'll notice as we look ahead to next week, still potentially a touch below average, but a lot closer than what it has been, as we see temperatures climbing back to 70s. And it still looks like maybe mid-month we see some warmer air above average as well.
There you go. And the fall outlook from the Climate Prediction Center is trending toward the warmer side of things overall, and that would be September, October, November. So we'll see. Hopefully we get a nice little warm stretch. I'll take 74.
Oh, me too. That's perfect.
And I'll take any place where the Earth just behaves itself, because we continue to follow what's happening with the Afghanistan earthquake. Officials in Afghanistan now say more than 2,200 people have died after the earthquake there earlier this week. Search and rescue efforts are still ongoing. Crews have recovered hundreds of bodies from mountain villages destroyed by the 6.0 magnitude quake. The Islamic Relief Agency, which is working in the area, says around 98% of buildings 98% of buildings in the Kunar province have been damaged or destroyed. Now, you've heard of a volcano, but what about a volnado?
No.
Yes, there's a web camera that captured this moment that a whirlwind sent ash up into the air next to a lava fountain. Look at that.
Wow.
Like, all you need is the rotation and the lift, I guess. Kilauea volcano in Hawaii is what you're looking at there. Scientists, of course, say the whirlwind was kicking up that loose ash near the erupting volcano, and of course just picked up that rotation for a volnado.
Wow, that's amazing.
There you go. I guess it's similar to some of the firenadoes we see with wildfires, or even just a dust devil, but obviously at higher temperatures.
Yes, just slightly higher temperatures. Great visual, though, especially up against some of that lava.
Right.
That's fantastic.
And I'm told, and we've reported on this too, that there's a viewing point there where you can go and take a look. Tourists can go, they can get their obligatory selfies for Instagram and stuff. So if you were lucky enough to be there when that was happening,
awesome.
Obviously, going viral for you. All right, we're going to hopefully go viral with all this show, the rest of this show, so stick around. We've got more Wisconsin weather experts in exactly 2 minutes.
everybody. Welcome back to Wisconsin Weather Experts. It's Friday, feeling good here in Milwaukee and hopefully across the rest of the state as well. And half of the reason why we're feeling good is because we are seeing at least a little bit of sunshine right now.
It definitely helps, right?
It does.
Yeah,
it absolutely does. Well, as you know, today we have a high pressure and a low in region helping to whip up the winds. But how did that develop in the first place? Meteorologist Holly Baker has an awesome explanation. Check it out.
Have you ever wondered how a high and low pressure system developed, or how we go from sunny weather to now we have a bad day with thunderstorms? Well, here is the basics. Let's start with a high pressure first. So a high pressure usually is developed whenever that air cools and it sinks. And then that creates the clear blue skies that we see. Usually our fair weather is going to be associated with a high pressure system. And the reason that cool air sinks, as you see here in our demonstration, that is because the cooler air is much heavier, so it has no choice but to sink. But whenever we turn our attention to a low pressure system, that usually develops whenever you have warmer air. And that warmer air usually rises. That creates all of our beautiful clouds that we see, as well as the rain associated with some of those clouds. As in our demonstration, you have at least a warmer air rising, creating these clouds and the storms, versus the cooler air sinking, and that's creating our sunshine. So in a nutshell, that is how the high pressure system and the low pressure system is developed.
There you go. Always good to get back to Weather 101.
It is.
Because if you know the basic stuff, then we can build up from there. And obviously that basics is a big part of today's forecast, with that high and the lows we're talking about creating the wind. Now, some of the basics of the Earth is that parts of it are very cold, and we have huge ice sheets and icebergs. But obviously, in the last few decades, some of that has been changing, and the world's largest iceberg is said to be breaking apart. Found in Antarctica, the shrinking megaberg, they call it, known as A23A, has been breaking into pieces. Now, the formation, which makes up the world's most enduring iceberg, is not expected to survive through the end of November. Wow. Ted Chambos is an ice scientist from the University of Colorado. He says the melting of the iceberg could lead to a massive collapse.
And what happens is the berg will upper part will saturate with water and then shatter, because the water drives through the iceberg and cracks it into thousands of pieces, so that very suddenly it would just sort of collapse onto the ocean surface.
There you go. The ice scientists do say that if it does survive the Antarctic spring, it could face an even tougher summer. A23A first broke away from the ice shelf back in 1986. So it's been around for a bit, but may not be around for much longer.
Wow, that's always hard to talk about. You know what's happening, but
when you see it. And then, these icebergs, I think mentally we have a picture of them being, smaller, but they are massive. And what you're seeing, the phrase tip of the iceberg, is real. What you're seeing above the water is matched significantly by what's under the water. And like he was saying there, once you start getting the upper half saturated and it starts falling apart, the whole thing just kind of collapses. So we'll update you on that if we get some more information.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about penguins now. Maybe some are living on that sheet of ice.
I don't know.
So, you never know. Several rehabilitated penguins are returned to the wild. Look at that. 9 Magellanic. Did I say that right, Rob?
Magellanic, I think.
Magellanic. Oh, wow. Okay, thanks. Penguins. Should have just stuck with penguins, everybody.
They're penguins.
No need to get specific
They're
here.
not the emperor penguins, I'm guessing.
Or the ones with the...
the ones from South Africa.
Yes,
with
the orange,
fringe.
like whiskers or whatever. Anyways, they were released on the Chilean coast this week following a successful rehabilitation process. So the birds were rescued from several different parts of the region and received special care at a treatment center. They sure look to be happy as they waddle back to their home.
Is it any wonder the world is fascinated by penguins? I mean,
they're just so cute.
Did you not watch that on a loop for hours?
And yes, as they dive back into the water.
And then, of course, didn't watch Happy Feet or any of the other penguin-themed movies that are out there. All right, well, you keep watching us. I can't promise any more penguins, but I do have a kitty cat. That's pretty close.
Oh, I'll take that.
Stick around for that in a couple of minutes.
everybody. Welcome back to Wisconsin Weather Experts, exclusively here on Fox Local, as well as our Fox 6 YouTube page.
That's right. Now, Milwaukee apparently is a cruise destination. They've started construction on a new cruise ship dock in Milwaukee. Passengers will soon get a somewhat more picturesque view as they pull into the city. Fox 6's Ashley Sears breaks down what that means for you.
As soon as you get past the breakwater, it's really nice.
One of the most stunning views of the city, usually enjoyed by travelers on the Lake Express ferry.
You know, you see the skyscrapers in the downtown area.
Will soon be seen by many more visiting Milwaukee by boat.
The beaches, the trees, the water.
In June of next year, the lot just east of the Lake Express will become home to the new South Shore cruise dock.
Everybody, let's grab a scoop of dirt.
Thursday, city leaders broke ground as construction began.
I think people are starting to really understand that Milwaukee has been underrated for a long time.
The dock will serve as the port of call for cruise ships stopping in Milwaukee, an upgrade from the current location in a commercial port next to Milwaukee's sewerage district.
Folks from literally all over the country and all over the world are going to be coming here, spending time here, spending money here.
The $17 million project is being funded in part with $7 million coming from the city, $4 million in state grants, and the rest from Port Milwaukee. Leaders call it an investment in the future.
Together, we are ensuring Milwaukee is not just a stop along the way, but a destination that inspires visitors to return.
Optimistic this first impression will keep people coming back.
We got a lot that we bring to the table.
Ashley Sears, Fox 6 News.
Oh, that's going to be a much better first impression for our beautiful city. No offense to the sewers district, it's important and we appreciate what it does, but that'll be a much better first impression. 22 cruises will have stopped here in Milwaukee by the end of this month, and next year that number will more than double, with 55 using this brand new docking location. City leaders say they want it to grow even more. Absolutely. People should
It's a great
keep
idea.
coming to our city.
Yeah, it's an absolutely great idea. Hey, if you guys have a question, by the way, any type of weather question, just throw in this QR code up again. I know we show this every so often. Just scan it, fill out the form, and send it our way.
That's right. And if you want to dive even deeper into the world of meteorology, we have our brand new regional video podcast, The Isobar, the highs and lows of meteorology. Myself and the other chief meteorologist got into a fun chat about our favorite season. Listen in.
Are you guys, pro hoodies and PSLs, or are you wishing there was some more summer yet?
I always wish there was more summer, except for this year. So I think the heat really got to me in June and July. So I've really been soaking up these cooler days. And, I'm on the fall train this year. It kind of feels like a new beginning. And I think this is the first year that I'm actually really, really excited for fall.
There you go. What about you, Rich?
I'm a big fall guy, except there's an exception. Here in Metro Detroit, November is the leaf raking season. So it'll be here soon enough. So it seems like once we get beyond Halloween, it's once or twice a week. Myself, all my neighbors, we're out there with the blowers and the rakes. I mean, it's a lot. We have a lot of leaves in my subdivision. So as much as I love the weather and apples and football and college football, the leaves are in the back of my mind.
You need people for that, Rich.
You're getting ready for the workout.
All right. I don't think we have time for our kitten.
We don't have time for our kitten.
I promised the kitten.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
well, we'll do the kitten next week on Monday. It's very cute. You'll stick around for that, I hope. But thanks for joining us this week, and check us out again Monday at noon on Fox Local.